Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we are going to do our CDL 2026 standings predictions. As you can see by the screen, probably going to start out talking about the game a little bit. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Dude, I almost started laughing during the intro because I looked over and Brock got absolutely flashbanged by whatever the hell he pulled up. I just saw a giant white light hit Brock's face.
I got flashbang.
But we're gonna do our standings predictions. I think we started recording and just a few minutes ago. Vancouver announced their roster, which and it ends up being obviously the roster that we all kind of knew was coming. But I think that leaves us with every team announcing their roster. Like obviously we got Heretics announced, OpTic, Thieves, Phase, Ultra, Falcons, Breach announced recently. We might Cloud9 did. We might be waiting on like Ravens and G2? Did Ravens announce?
Don't think so.
Like, oh no, they did. They did. Never mind. They did on November 10th. I just missed the announcement. Actually, no, I remember that picture. I remember seeing that picture. I lied. So they did announce, and then Rocker. Did they announce? G2 Rocker. What is their name on Twitter now?
Would be just G2.
G2 CDL. Okay. They haven't announced anything really. They basically just said like they're staying in the CDL and rebranding, but we know who their roster is. So I think we're just waiting on just them to announce, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because Gentlemates, I believe, maybe the other team, unless I missed that. I don't know. We'll see. We have all the rosters for the most part, anyways. And honestly, the ones that potentially aren't announced, I don't think any of us are going to have them super high, regardless.
Yeah.
Well, let's start out with our thoughts on the game. Obviously, that's really the big news. Since we last recorded last week, the game is out. We've all got a decent amount of time playing this weekend. Brad is in the absolute race for master
Brad the
prestige.
race.
Brad's like third prestige or something. I just barely prestige. I think Brock, you're probably pretty close to prestiging.
Yeah, I think I'm level 52 or something.
Yeah. Played a good amount of pubs. I wanted to do like maybe we'll end up. I don't know. We'll see what we're at for time. Maybe we'll do like a tier list of the maps or something to end this one. I might just like pull that up on the screen and like do a maps tier list just so we can go through them or something. But yeah, let's talk about the game. Brad, you got the most playtime. I think that means you get rights to talk
Yeah,
first. What are your thoughts on the game so far? Obviously, kind of early to tell like a ton because we've
right.
only played a weekend, but
Brad didn't sleep yet. He's
I
still
didn't
playing.
know. I'm
yeah,
like halfway through Prestige 3, so um
grinding.
gotta get them camos, man. I love, speaking of camos, I love how many camos there are.
Agreed.
I think that's, I don't know, it just gives you something to do if you get bored, when there's before ranked or whatever, maybe you finish the camo grind. Most of you probably aren't gonna finish the camo grind before a rank comes out. But I do like that. It adds like a little level of like rarity. I
Mhm.
like more rarity, I should say. Because I think dark matter won't be as rare this year, but overall game flow, I think the game plays really, really well. I like that it's a little bit slower, but then they added like the wall jump mechanic, which I think speeds it up a little bit, allows you to make some crazy plays and stuff. I've played a little bit of search. I think search plays really well. Overall, I know we said it's the first weekend, whatever. But dare I say it's the best COD that's came out since Black Ops 3?
Nope.
Cold War
Uh,
Vanguard maybe, but it's
Black
it's
Ops
really, really
3,
good.
Black Ops 4.
No, Black Ops 4 doesn't count. Not real.
Uh,
Wait,
that's
that's a
definitely.
crazy take.
I would
Yeah, my
not.
bad. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot Black Ops 4 existed. My bad.
I would. I don't know. I hesitate to ever like rank it among CODs this early because like for me the way I rank games the most because I'm gonna end up putting the most time into competitive. So I kind of rank it more off competitive. So it's hard for me to rank where a COD would be without playing a lot of ranked. Because that's what
Mhm.
I enjoy most. So like nothing is ever going to compare to like the old school pubs games because I think pubs is always the most fun when you're first getting into COD, like kind of learning the game, getting better.
True.
Pubs is always like the most fun then because you don't really know ranked and you're kind of a bot. And just like when you do end up getting like when you're a bot and you're first starting and you end up getting like a attack chopper or something, you're like, oh my god, like you get way more dope from that. Whereas like now I'm getting a dog and I'm just like, like it's cool, but
Yeah, it's
like,
cool.
but you get it like a decent amount. I have a hard
I
time
got
ranking
dope.
it. I do think off playing in the beginning with the right tweaks, I think it has an argument to potentially be the best game of the CDL era. There's a chance. Obviously, it's way too early to say, but I think there's potential there. I think Black Ops 6 had potential to be the best game of the CDL era, and they just didn't properly update the game or do anything to improve it, so it fell short.
Right.
Because I don't know
Agreed.
what would you guys say it has to pass to become the best CDL era game? In my opinion, it's MW3 is the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of people would say Cold War. I prefer MW3 over Cold War. Brock's gonna say Vanguard.
Vanguard?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew
Vanguard
Brock
is
was gonna
so
say
good.
Vanguard. I mean, Vanguard was fun, but I don't know. I agree, Brad. The one thing that you said that I really like is there is a lot of camos, and I actually like how you can grind camos in different ways because like I just love doing the camo grind for Dark Matter just because like if it's a game I enjoy, I just enjoy doing it. I know it's not for
Yep.
everyone, but I just like doing the camo grind. It's kind of like a fun completionist thing. It's satisfying when you complete it. It's fun to go after. It's fun to like take a tour of the game and try all the guns, basically. But I really like how like if you're not somebody that likes to do that, or maybe you're just you don't have the time to grind it, or maybe you just like don't enjoy that, or you're not good enough, or whatever it is. Like if you don't enjoy it, you can do the Prestige Master camos. Like you can pick a gun you really like and just grind all the way to the max level, which you don't technically have to be like super good to do that. Like you just can put a lot of time in and grind. You know what I mean?
Overtime, you'll get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that, Brock. Your thoughts on the game so far?
Oh, from what I played, so far so good. Camos like Brad said, love that. So much for them to do. Gotta get on that for my completion of the
Yeah,
camos, and then I'll complete it, and I won't use the camo in ranked. But yeah,
yeah. You'll complete it and you'll just put no camo default gun.
yeah,
You always like rock a camo for like a little bit, and then you're like, no, I'm going back to default.
yeah. I don't know, something about it.
You just shoot straighter without it.
That is true. Attached did say that once.
No. I like switching up random camos, and I actually like. I don't know. I looked at the other camos too. The zombies camo looks really cool. I just don't know if I can commit that much time to getting 1,000 headshots with every gun in zombies. I think Brad should go for it. Brad's grinding this year. I think Brad should go for both.
I was gonna
That's a
go
lot
for
of
the
zombies
Warzone
being
one.
played.
But it's way easier, I
Mhm.
guess, than previous years because they cut the headshots from 1,000 or 2,000 to 1,000, which is like, I mean, if you go across all the guns you have to do, that's like a crazy time savings as long as the other challenges are just as easy.
Yeah.
Cutting the headshots from 2,000 to 1,000 is crazy time saving. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
in terms of
But
the
yeah, my
actual,
favorite.
what are you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say my favorite part. Love the wall bouncing.
Yeah,
Crazy sights you can get with it. Just love that
yeah.
so
I
far.
playing the game and like thinking about like how all of us that we play ranked with, I just like when I play the game, I'm just like, this is a Brock game. I think Brock's gonna be really good at this game because it's just like the weird bounce angles you can get and like just like the weird crazy movement. Brock just likes to do just crazy shit and like just get like Brock will really invest in the movement. I feel like this is a good game for Brock. I also like I don't know in terms of like how we think it's going to play competitively. What did you guys think of the maps? Like I said, depending on how much time we have, maybe we'll like throw together like a map tier list, or maybe we'll do that next week when we get like another full week to play. But what do you guys think of the maps so far? I feel like there are when I play these maps, there are some where I'm kind of like, ugh, I don't love that, but I feel like there are a lot more maps where I'm sitting there playing it and I'm like, I could see how this could work for one game over the other. Like, I feel like we have a lot more classic 3-lane viable maps in this game as compared to especially last year.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Brad, what's your favorite map for competitive?
My
If you're
favorite
thinking
map?
of competitive specific,
Oh, it's probably what is it? Not Scud. It's what is that one? It's the one with like the town, and there's like P1 is like the middle, like I think it's like a helicopter that went down, and then like There's like that P2 is in that like kind of like that courtyard area where there's like that upstairs, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think. I think I know what map you're talking about, but I want to make sure. Let me see the maps. Maps. I'm trying to find a list of the maps. Not Blackheart, it's not Colossus.
Pretty sure it starts with an S.
Den, Exposure, Express, Flagship. The Flagship? No, it's not Flagship.
No.
Jack, not Homestead. Imprint? I don't think it's Imprint. Nuketown, Paranoia,
No.
Raid, Retrieval. Scar?
Yeah, Scar.
That is,
think
I
that's probably-
enjoy that map as well. I think that's a good map. It reminds me of the map from Ghosts that they played Search on. I always think of that when I play it. Warhawk, I think it is. Warhawk from Ghost is the map that, if I'm thinking of the right map, I think it reminds me of that. You know, if you pull up a list, Brock, you'd recognize it, the Scar map. I agree, Brad. I think Scar is a really good map as well. I'm a little scared.
Homestead's
the
my
length
favorite
of it.
though.
Homestead's your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite, but I think Scar is probably going to be the best competitive map.
I don't think
Homestead is a good man.
Homestead's good pubs. I don't think it'll be in competitive because I think it's like too open in a lot of parts.
Right.
Like I'm thinking of that right side by the water where it's just like open land, and that's not really going to play well in competitive because like if you spawn over there, you just like are just trapped because there's nowhere to like get to. You know, you just have to like straight up gun somebody. So unfortunately, I don't think that can play competitive. But I agree, Homestead's a pretty fun map to play. Scar is really good though. I just think like overall when I look at these maps, like I think Scar could be viable. I think the Forge could be viable. Toshin, I have some questions about. I think where is it? Retrieval, I'm not a big fan. Raid, obviously we know.
Den's not bad.
Den's my favorite map if they make a cutout. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter. If they make a cutout from middle map to like the rooftop side, Den would be my favorite map in the game. I love Den. They literally they need an easier way to switch lanes from the rooftop lane to middle, and Den would be the best map in the game for competitive.
Yeah. Cortex pretty good too.
Cortex will be solid for competitive. Obviously, like we know Express could be used for S&D. Flagship might be a little small. So what I saw though, Exposure is interesting. I feel like that could be a competitive map for sure. What did I see though? What is the name of that map? I love Den. Den is my favorite map. Colossus I saw was being scrimmed. The one I saw, Blackheart, was being scrimmed in Hardpoint, which I thought was crazy because Blackheart's tiny.
Yeah.
That's like frequency vibes. Yeah, it was being scrimmed in Hardpoint. That's like frequency vibes. Obviously, like take it with a grain of salt what was being scrimmed because this time of year they're basically trying everything a little bit at least just to see what all works. But I saw a Blackheart being scrimmed a little bit, and I was like, that is shocking because that map's tiny, but that's like frequency vibes if they play it. Or bow cage.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
But I feel a lot more optimistic about our map pool this year because I think there are a lot of good original maps. And we already have Express, which can be used for S&D. We have Raid, which can be used for everything. And then they're supplementing us with Meltdown, which can be used for S&D. Standoff, which can be used for every mode. Like, we're getting supplemented with a lot of classic maps that are like, okay, we can add these in. I would like to see them do 5 original maps for each mode and then throw in Raid, Express, Meltdown, and give us like a 8 map pool. Like, give us a giant map pool. Like, nobody's going to complain about that. Just having so much variety, not playing the same mode over and over again. Map and mode is going to be like really cool.
That is true.
Overall though, I'm very optimistic as well because it feels like Treyarch is very willing to make changes so far this year and very willing to like listen to feedback, you know, and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm optimistic for the game. I think it's a good game.
So far, so good.
Obviously, a lot of things that they have to, you know, potentially update, and we'll see what they do. But I have a lot of hope for this game, and I hope they don't crush me because I had a lot of hope for Black Ops 6. I was like, if they just do a couple updates and, you know, give us some good original maps like they did in MW3, and then they did none of that, and they crushed the game.
Yep.
But I have a lot of hope. Any other thoughts you want to talk about? I haven't tried Zombies at all, but I've heard Zombies is pretty good.
One thing. I dropped 25 streak. I got dope from this game. I'm good.
No nuke. No nuke.
All right.
Nah, nuke Brad.
You could hear my heart going through my headset when I was at 25.
Have you
How
dropped a
nervous?
nuke,
How
Brad?
nervous were you?
Yeah.
No, I've never dropped a nuke.
How
How
nervous
nervous
were
was
you?
I?
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't say I was nervous. I was more like adrenaline. And then like when I died, my hands were like, holy shit.
I remember I didn't really play COD like too much back in the day, so I didn't really like ever drop a nuke. I was playing Halo, so I never really dropped a nuke on like the OG games like I think you did, Brock. But I remember like I got a random nuke one time in college. I just like came home from class and like I think it was I don't know if it was I think it was a little bit before COVID. But I was like I came over and I was like about to do some homework and then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like play a couple pubs quick. So we were gonna play like ranked later in the night. I think it was on BO4. I just like hopped on and I dropped a nuke on Nuketown. And
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like that was like my first nuke, and I just don't play enough pubs to really consistently drop it. But Brad's heart was beating through his chest. Does that ever happen to you when you're playing like ranked or a GB or anything? Does that ever happen to either of you? You just get randomly nervous. I know Brad does. I've seen it.
Sometimes, but not that bad. Not 25 kill streak bad.
Brad's shaking. I know it.
No, Brad is shaking at champs.
I'm
main
like
stage.
Matt Ryan.
I don't ever really get nervous, especially when playing ranked. Like, it's ranked, whatever. But like I just know every like once or twice a year, I'm usually like last alive a lot in S&D because I play like an island a lot. So I end up being last alive. And so I'm in a lot of clutch situations and I just randomly will be like a round 11 1v1 and my heart will just start beating just once a year in like some random 1v1 and I'm like, oh no. Okay, anything else in the game or you want to move on to our standings?
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, but overall I think we would all say high hopes for the year. Like they have I think they have a good fighting chance to make a case for the best CDL era game, competitively, specifically speaking. And it's not just, I don't think it's just optimism of the new game because I think there are certain games like when MW2 came out and I first played it, I could tell you it wasn't going to be the best one in the CDL era. Same with MW19. Unfortunately, Brock, probably same with Vanguard. Early pubs in that game were rough though. Like
Vanguard pubs was rough, but rank was good.
Yeah, I feel like there are only a few games. I think last year there was hope. Obviously, did not pan out. Last year there was hope, and I think honestly, I don't even think MW3. Funny enough, I don't really think MW3 off the rip had the potential. Like it didn't seem like it because like the game was fine, but the maps weren't great, and they clutched up by putting in some incredible maps that like completely saved that game for ranked.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that I have hope for this year because we have a lot more good maps off the rip, and we know we're getting supplemented with multiple classics, and there are a bunch more originals coming out, and the fact that they've done pretty well with these originals gives me hope for the fact that the new ones coming out could be a gem or two in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Predictions for the season. I've got it up on the screen. We got it on the tier list. We're going to start from 12 and go up to 1. Each of our predictions, this has nothing to do with who you think is, well, I guess it does have something to do with who you think is going to win tournaments because they'll be getting a lot of points. But so for these standings, we're not talking about champs placings. We're not talking about anything like that. It's strictly at the end of the regular season. Where are these teams going to be placed? We usually do it every year. I think last year I picked FaZe to finish first in the regular season standings to continue their streak of always finishing first every year. They did not. And I believe Brock picked OpTic. So we were both off. I think FaZe finished second. LAT finished first. Obviously, OpTic finished like 7th. Brock was just mistaken. He thought he was picking who was going to win champs. That's why he put OpTic first.
Yeah. Happens,
Are we going to have an upset here, though, for the 12th team? I mean, the order I have it listed in, it's Brock and then me and then Brad. But I mean, like, I'm putting Cloud9 in 12th.
That's what I have as well.
I don't know if you guys have any disagreements with that.
I was thinking Thebes.
Yeah, valid.
No, Cloud9, but who knows if they actually finished 12th.
Yeah, I will say, like, looking at the rosters, obviously on that team, Afro, Mac, Beans, Vivid, assuming Vivid's the flex, Beans, main AR, obviously, then Afro and Mac on the subs. I will say, looking at that team, in terms of a team that we're all picking to be bottom, I do feel like this is a team that has a lot more potential to, I don't think, make champs or make a lot of noise, but I think like this team is one that like I can see the vision of how they could finish like 10th. Like whereas
Yeah.
like last year when we're looking at Falcons, it was like I don't see a world where this team gets out of the 12th spot unless they make roster changes really early because I think we all knew like Falcons a bunch of players that have never played the CDL, they're probably going to finish last.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I see a path since it's a bunch of veterans. If they just start out the game, they learn the game quick, they start out decent, and then they get enough points to just like find themselves in 11th or something. But I don't know. Brad, what do you think about C9?
I'm at 12. I think they're the worst team. Trip.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Okay. This is where everything completely could be all mixed up because I had a really hard time. I don't know about you guys. I had a really hard time ranking. Like, I have a pretty good pulse on who I think is going to finish like top 6 in whatever order. But
Yeah.
to me, the 7 through 11 was where I really struggled to place teams because I realistically think like I think 7 through 11, the 5 teams that I have 7 through 11, I could see any of them finishing at any one of those numbers.
Hmm.
Could see my team that I have in 7th finishing in 11th, and it wouldn't surprise me. So Brock, start with you. Who do you got at 11?
Ooh, I have the Boston Breach.
Brock's respecting my hate watch.
Boston Breach at 11th.
You
I
want
don't
to
think
elaborate on that?
I don't think they'll pull off, what they did last year. Winning all these games against these, top teams when they shouldn't be, even though they did upgrade to Nasty instead of Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got to see it to believe again, kind of like last year, if they actually pull it off.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. I'll throw mine up there. I didn't put Breach here. I'm respecting my hate watch. I put Ravens at 11. Um, and again, this is where I battled because I truly believe that Ravens could finish as high as 7. I think it's possible because
Hmm.
I see the vision for Ravens. You got the vet and slasher. You've got the best sub coming out of challengers in Craze, and you've got Lurks, who's supposed to be a fast player, and you got Nero, who's switching to a flex and is going to be a fast player. I see the vision for how this team sneaks into champs. I could see them finishing a little higher, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things that need to go right. So I put them down at 11. I just think there's a lot of things that need to go right. I could see things kind of imploding for them.
Yeah.
Brad, who you got at 11?
I also have the Ravens at 11. I just think I think they're more unstable than Boston and Minnesota and those other lower tier teams.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. I just do you guys what do you think realistically the Ravens ceiling is for you? I guess Brock, what do you think Boston's ceiling is, and Brad, what do you think Ravens? I think like I could see them finishing as high as 7. That's where I think this range kind of goes.
Boston for me, like, what, 8th place?
Yeah, champs cut off.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's crazy to say Boston could make champs. I mean, they did it last year with arguably a worse roster.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you think for Ravens?
I think Ravens. I think their ceiling is 8, and I think they can finish as low as 12.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they could. I just think C9 is going to finish last. Ravens could. They could definitely finish 12 though.
Yeah.
Brock, who you have at 10?
I have Ravens.
Okay, I wonder if Brad and I did the same thing then. I have Boston 10.
I have Minnesota.
Okay. Brad went with Minnesota. And as I say that, I'm realizing that the rocker logo just didn't paste on here for some reason.
The Roquar.
That's because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, the rocker logo just didn't paste on here. Hang on. See if I can add it quick. Let me lock this, take this off. Let me see if I can add the rocker logo quick. Let's see.
D2 Minnesota.
Why can I not add? Okay, I'm adding it quick. I figured it out. All right. There we go. All right. I got it on here now. We got Minnesota on here. Brad, you have Minnesota 10, you said? Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah, Brock, I think we kind of have the same reasons probably for each. Like, I think Boston is just a little bit higher floor than Ravens. So I put him at 10 instead of 11. And I'm assuming you probably think Ravens is a little higher ceiling. So you put him at
Yeah.
10 over Boston. I feel like I'm most curious to hear Brad because obviously this is the lowest ranking for G2 of any of us. So Brad, you have G2 at 11. For those of you that don't know, it's Skies, Mamba, Estriel, and Kremp.
I just feel like this team, like I believe in Mamba, and I think that he's gonna be nasty. I mean, let's just look at that mustache. But like, I just feel like this team floor and ceiling are low. Like I feel like I believe in Kremp and Estriel, but I don't know if I necessarily believe either one of them can take the main sub role of like I don't think there's a single player other than maybe Mamba if he's crazy, which even still learning curve kind of thing. Um I just don't think anybody on this team is the star, and I just don't think. I think they're better than Ravens and C9, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to be better than the rest. Like I think they could, like ceiling wise, tap out at like 7,
No,
but I don't think.
yeah, I just don't. I don't necessarily agree with the point that you said of their because you said their ceiling. Did you say you think their ceiling is like lower than any of the teams like coming up? I don't know. Like I feel like they have a higher floor and ceiling than Boston in my mind.
You think so? I just feel like we saw enough out of Purge and Snoopy towards the end of last year with Big Wake, who I mean was not great, and then you get a very clear upgrade with Nasty, and I just feel like I think Nasty is gonna help Purge and Snoopy out a lot, and I think there's enough talent
Yeah.
there for them to be better than G2.
Okay, maybe yeah. I guess I could maybe get on board with a higher floor for Boston, but I don't think ceiling wise. Like I don't think Boston has nearly the takeover potential that Minnesota does. Like I look at Mamba as a guy that could potentially take over coming in as the most
Right.
highly touted AR. I look at Kremp and Estriel as guys that can have kind of takeover series. Like I think they have more takeover than Purge and Snoopy do as a duo. Like Purge has his
Okay.
moments, but he also has his moments of like, wow, yikes. Like
True.
he can't get a
Invasion.
kill. Yeah. But like Kremp and Estriel, I feel like and I think Skies has an overall like good floor as a main AR. Like Skies is as steady as they come. Like I know it wasn't great last year, but like he won 3 events including champs 2 years ago, and then
True.
the year before that, or the year after that, I guess, like 2 years ago, technically, he was in the champs finals and won an event. Like he had one down year on a terrible team last year. So like
True.
I think people are discounting Skies way too much. I don't think this team's going to be amazing. As I say that because I mean we can reveal our next team, but I have them at 9. I don't
I
think
have Boston at 9.
you have Boston at 9. I don't think they're crazy. Brock, who do you have at 9?
I have Rocker
Okay.
at 9.
So we have the same teams here. We just we all have Cloud9 last. Brad and I have Ravens second last. Brock has Boston. We all moved Boston up in a diagonal row here. Brock had him 11. I had him 10. Brad has him 9. So I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs. We all kind of think these teams are in the same grouping.
Yeah.
It's just like up or down a spot, and I personally think this is the hardest spot to rank because one of these, I would be willing to bet that one of these 4 teams makes champs. It's
Happens
never.
every year, basically.
It's never. I mean, we all thought Boston was a bottom 2 team last year. They were at champs. Like, I would. Do you guys feel confident in saying that? Maybe you don't because we all ranked a bottom 4, but I have a feeling one of these teams minimum will be at champs. It always happens every year. The
Yeah.
4 teams that look like the bottom 4 never end up being the bottom 4.
Yeah.
Also,
I would
'cause
say.
there are massive question marks for who I bet we all have 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have at 8? Your first team making champs, or your last team in, I guess.
For me, I have the Vancouver Surge.
Okay, Brad.
I'm just kind of betting on, betting on Legend winning
Yeah.
the crew.
I have the Falcons.
I also have the Falcons at 8. Brad and I are the same, except we flipped Boston and Rocker. Uh, I'm curious since Brad and I have the same team. Brock, you go first. Where do you have Surge at 8? Obviously, you have enough faith in him that you have him making champs, but lower than Brad and I. Why'd you put Surge at 8?
I put Surge at 8 because I do think they have more talent than the team that obviously plays before below. But I was thinking about maybe putting them a little higher, but it's kind of the unknown with some the players of the team. So I mean, they might struggle a little bit in beginning. I do think they'll pick it up and end up making champs, maybe last place.
Yeah. I fully agree with your assessment. I'm only betting on Surge just because I like their young talent. I think smartest spot to put them, I think, is 8 over 7, where I'll be honest, I have them at 7. I think the smartest spot to put them is where you put them at 8 because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if you guys disagree with me here, but I think at 8 is where we see the clear talent difference. From 9, the jump up to 8 is a clear talent difference because let's just put our 7th team on. So I have Surge at 7. Who do you have at 7?
Surge
Brad?
as well.
You have Surge at 7, Brad. Who do you have?
I have Heretics.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Falcons, but that you help prove my point here. So we'll put them on there. You have them at 7, so that helps prove my point though. I think like when I look at Cloud9, we all have Cloud9, Ravens, Boston, Minnesota as our bottom 4. I think like no matter what team you pick there, for Brock and I, it's Minnesota. For Brad, it's Boston, who we have at 9. I think the jump to the 8th team is a clear talent upgrade. That's where like the line is drawn for a talent upgrade. Because like for Brad, you go from Boston, who has some solid players, but then you go to a team that has Celium, Pred, Kismet, like 3 world champions, really talented players. Same with mine. You go from Minnesota, who has good players, Kremp, Estriel, Skies. Like there is nothing wrong with those players. Mamba, like those are good players, but there's clearly an upgrade. You go to 3 world champs, Kismet, Pred, Celium, like MVPs. We're talking about MVPs. We're talking about world champions, and then even Brox. You go from that rocker team with some solid vets to you go to a team with legend. The most highly touted Halo prospect, Gwyn, who's super talented, Abe, who's one of the big time up and comers, and Lunars, who was a big up and comer last year. Like I think there's certainly there's a talent gap when you go from 9 to 8, no matter who you have at 8. You guys agree with that, or you think it happens somewhere else? Obviously, I think
I agree.
I think there might be a jump from 7 to 6 as well, but Brock. So Brad and I have Surge. We kind of talked about. I mean, my reasoning for Surge being at 7 is I'm just betting on the talent. I think Brad would probably say the same thing.
Yeah, quite literally the exact same. They're just, I mean, they're spewing talent.
They just got to put it together.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are a team. I think they're the most volatile team. I could see them finishing like 11th. Because if Legend just doesn't click and he just isn't, I mean, we've seen it before. Like I always think of like Mental. He came over from as like the most decorated Gears player in Cold War, and he ended up having a stint where he played on LAG, and it just did not work out. And now he's playing Halo. Like it doesn't always work out. So if Legend doesn't work out, like Lunars doesn't actually pan out, like last year on LAG wasn't a fluke. He just actually isn't good. Like this team could implode and be very far down. I think they're definitely risky. I would venture to say I think like a team like Boston and Minnesota has a higher floor.
Yeah, no, I agree with that statement.
I don't know, Brock, are you on board with that, or you disagree?
I agree.
I think they have a higher floor than a team like Surge. Surge's ceiling is just infinitely higher, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm betting on. But Brock, you're the big talking point here. You insulted Brad. You put Miami down at 7. Why do you have Miami down?
Brad.
Obviously below Falcons.
Yeah. See, be honest, I was going between Falcons and Heretics for these 2 spots here. And sure, Real is a big loss to the not the Falcons. Heretics, what am I saying? And, Tricks, the unknown. And super, can be good, but shows flashes of, not playing maybe the right way sometimes.
Yeah.
And Metals is, he is good in certain moments, but Rancor's going to have to be that one, kind of like last year, to carry them. And I guess at the end of the day, I would just bet like my next team, obviously Falcons, to win more online matches and get a lot of points from that way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like I don't think the argument's bad. So you have Falcons next, you said in 6th. I don't think the argument's bad at all because again, like I think if we're talking ceilings and everything clicks, like a team with Celium, Pred, and Kismet, like I can definitely get on board with an argument that they have a higher ceiling than Heretics. I don't think it's crazy to say. Like we're talking about some of the
Yeah.
best players in the world at different times. I mean, with that said, like I have Heretics at 6, so it's not for you to have them at 7 isn't like crazy to me. I'm assuming Brad does, and I can see Brad's face. I'm assuming he has somebody else at 6.
So 5 and 6 is really tough for me. But at 6, I have Heretics.
Oh, you do? I'm surprised that you're gonna have him at 5.
They got Phase at 6.
He's got him at 5. Look at his face. That's wow. So Brock, you have Falcons. Are you just betting on like the Pred, Celium, kind of just like talent stack?
I bet on that. I'm betting like Selim can win you like a series by himself.
Yeah.
In like in these online matches, more so to say, to get points, and Pred can do the same thing. So I'm just kind of betting on that aspect.
I can see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
For me, I have Heretics up here just because I think like they have proven. I put them in the 6th spot because they've proven. I think that they have a 1-person change. Granted, like I said, it goes from their most important player. Their like star sub is the person that's getting switched out. So it certainly could go much worse than we think it could because they're switching out their star sub. What if he's just not good? What if the replacement's just not good? They're in a tough spot then. Because then they're hoping that their ARs can carry them. And it's always tougher for an AR duo to carry a team than it is a sub duo. I just think the Heretics are going to have pretty. I think that the Falcons, and this is going to sound weird, I think the Falcons and Surge have a higher ceiling than the Heretics. But I think the Heretics are just going to be steady winning like half their matches online and getting top 6s that they're just going to accrue enough points from being steady to just finish ahead of them in the standings more likely. Like where I think like Falcons and Surge, I think Surge might start the year really slow and then pick up. I think Falcons might do the same. I just think Heretics are going to be like steady winning half their matches online, accruing some points, getting top 6s, getting some points there, and they're just going to overall stack up some points and finish 6th.
Definitely can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting. So we all have the same top 5 teams. It's kind of fun. We all have the same top 5 teams. I would have liked to see somebody go crazy bold, but Brad, who you got at 5?
Phase.
Okay, I think we're all going to be different here. I think we're all going to have different teams. Brock, who do you have at
5? I have my LG mates.
Oh, I have the same team.
Wow.
I have the same team as Brock.
Hey,
I have
that's a big improvement from what they ever been, really.
That's true.
Predicting LAG to finish 5 has got to be the highest anybody's predicted them to finish since we had the hope that the Vanguard year, which is funny because they ended up winning an event that year, but like their initial roster of like the slasher gunless team, like that was probably the highest hopes anybody ever had for LAG coming into a year.
Yeah, agreed.
Because their team was a disaster in MW19. They paid Hecz like $1 billion because they heard that he was the 2-time world champ and did not look at what he had done recently. That team was a disaster. But shout out to Hecz for getting the bag. Did anybody see Hecz tweet, his elite tweet this weekend?
I did not.
It was about the process.
What did he say?
He said, I need to find the tweet. I need to read it word for word. It was an elite tweet. He was just trolling OpTic fans like he always does. It was hilarious. He tweeted, watch the process. The first hour and 20 was phenomenal. Really enjoyed. Didn't watch any after that, though. So basically, like if you watch to an hour 20, it's just basically the entire year from hell for OpTic. So he's basically like, I watched the part where they were just absolutely in hell, and then like when Mercules is picked up, I just like turned it off. That was an elite tweet.
That's Hecz for you.
That was an elite tweet from Hecz, just an absolute hater tweet, and he had so many people angry in the comments. I was just laughing at it. I think I replied, I said this might be your best tweet.
That's so funny.
That was an elite tweet from Hecz. But speaking of gentlemen, speaking of Hecz, I have them at the 5 spot. Brock does as well. I think I think the 4 teams ahead of them, I just have much more faith that they're going to finish, in the top 4. I think LAG, I love their roster, but I think there are just a couple more question marks. Like Sib tends to have his struggles sometimes, winning even with the good teams in the regular season a little bit. And Neptune just has 1 year under his belt. of
Mhm.
being that elite player. Again, I think this team is really good, and I could see them finishing higher than this. When it comes to the top 4 teams, top 5 teams, I just have a little bit more questions about them than the others, is why I put them at 5. But I think this is where I think when we cross the line from 6 up to 5, we're in contender status. Like, I expect you to win an event or your year's a failure in my eyes for these 5 teams.
Mhm.
For the way I rank them, if these teams don't win an event, I think they had a failure of a year.
Yep.
Gentlemates is one of those teams. This team's too good not to win an event if they are who they think they are. Like Sib, Ghosty, Envoy, Neptune, like they got to win an event.
It's a good team.
Yeah. Brock, your thoughts on them? I want to hear Brad's
My
face thoughts. We know he hates them.
My thoughts, it's kind of like I'm looking at the top 4 that I have, and I just have a little more faith they'll be more consistently good as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see, like you said, Sib struggling first part. Who knows, Neptune? What if he's not Neptune last year?
Yep.
And then, it could spiral into that. But I'm very hopeful this team will do very good, since I'm rooting for them this year.
Yeah. Brad, FaZe. Yeah, Brock, you have the most hope for sure that you've ever had rooting for LAG. That's without a doubt. You have, as an LAG fan, you have a actual right to be hopeful. And also, I am super excited about this because we know the Gentlemates fan base is crazy. And we saw them overseas. Like they have a legit chance. Like when they go to Paris in Major 4, if Gentlemates are a contender for champs at that time, obviously we're gonna know if Gentlemates has a chance to win champs or not at that point. Major 4, like
Yeah.
if Gentlemates team is as good as we think they could be, where we all think they're top 5 at a minimum, like if they are that good, it is going to be nuts in Paris for them. Like they're gonna be way more cheers for them than OpTic, and I love it. It's gonna be awesome. Even when they go to the UK, there might be a lot. I mean, a lot of people could easily travel from France. Like there are a lot of Gotaga fans in Europe. Like, I want Gentlemates to be good so bad because they have a fan base that could rival OpTic.
Good for the league.
Yeah, which is amazing for the league. Yeah, I mean they were supporting their team like crazy last year. They were the worst team basically.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, your thoughts, FaZe. Why are you Mr. Resident Abuza hater? Why are they 5th?
I just hate Abuza.
You hate him because he's good.
No, he's buns, dude. No, so mainly I put them at 5 because I hate Abuza and I hope he sucks this year. But I don't know, just something seems off about FaZe to me, and I don't know, just went with my gut, honestly. I hate Abuza, and B I just don't think this FaZe team's gonna be that, like, they're gonna be good, they're still gonna be top 5, but I don't think they're gonna be the FaZe of old that we know and knew.
Yeah. I mean, I have them at 4. I'll just reveal that for my 4th. Who do you have before, Brock?
At 4, I have, the team that basically gets top 4 every time. I have the Ultra/Koi.
Second you said that, I started moving them up already. And Brad, who do you have 4?
LAG.
Yeah. So we all have a different 4th team. Interesting. I really battled with putting Ultra 4 as well. I don't know. I just really, that Real Joe Kleenex trio, just maybe want to bump them up a little bit. I put FaZe at 4 over Gentlemates because I think the ceiling, I like them to be a little more consistent as well. Like I just think like any team with like Simp has always been good. Like so I like them Simp Draza and they're hitting Abuza in 04. I think that could make like specifically Simp and maybe Draza a little bit. I think it could make him a little hungrier too. Like he's been playing with the same players for so long that like really breaking out of his shell and getting some new teammates could maybe re-energize him a little bit. And he's already been elite for the last like few years. I think that could re-energize Simp a little bit. And I just like their team to be if you were to, the reason I put them ahead of LAG is because if you were to tell me one of these two teams was going to bottom out this year and just not be the team we thought at all, I think it's way more likely to be LAG than it is FaZe.
Yeah.
I just can't see a team with Simp and Draza just bottoming out and sucking. Whereas I see the potential holes in Gentlemates again. I think they're going to be really good. I think they have a chance to win an event. I've always been a Simp truther, so I got to put him ahead. Gentlemates put him in 4. And I really could have put him at 3, but I'm putting faith in Ultra Boys.
I put LAG 4 because I mean, I really, really like what they have. All 4 players, I think, have the chance to mesh really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since, like, with the exception of Sib, when I view this team, like, I don't see any big egos. Like, I just feel like this is gonna be like, I don't know, I just feel like they're gonna flow really well. They're gonna come out of the gate shooting, and I think that's one of the main proponents for why I put them above FaZe. Is I don't think, at least in my head, when I think about LAG, I don't think there's going to be growing pains. I think they're going to come out of the gate gunning. Um, I really like this team. I really do, and
I
I'm
love
happy
it
for
too.
Brock.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I love every one of the top 5 teams.
Except FaZe.
That's why I'm just so excited for this year in general, because this is the best top 5 in my eyes on paper that I can remember seeing in quite some time. And then even like 6 through 8, you can argue about the bottom 4, but like 6 through 8, there's a lot of fun, intriguing teams as well. Heretics are intriguing, Falcons, and Surge. I think all 3 of those teams are intriguing. And then I think we have a really good top 5 of contenders. Brock, you got Ultra.
You think this is the most well-rounded the league has been?
Hard to think about starting the year. I think MW19 was decently well-rounded to start, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. There were some bad rosters. Cold War, it's hard to remember.
Vanguard?
Cold War, I remember it being like, oh my god, OpTic like gave Arcitys to the Tiny Terrors for free. It's like they were so good together and they instantly like dominated the next year. So Cold War, everybody kind of thought FaZe was going to dominate.
Yeah.
Vanguard, I feel like, was pretty balanced. It's hard to remember all the way back to what I thought at the beginning of the year. I remember thinking last year it was going to be like decently balanced, but like the top 4 was going to be like insane.
Yeah.
This year, I feel like there's a top 5 and there's 3 like sleepers. I feel like there's like a 8-team competitive league, and then there's the other 4. But even the other 4, when I look at the bottom teams, like Boston's going to pull off some upsets, and Minnesota's going to pull off some upsets. It's just kind of a matter of what Carolina and New York do.
Right.
I don't know. I love this top 5. I love all these teams. I'm so excited to watch all of them play. But Brock, 4th Ultra, lowest placement of Ultra for any of us. It's still 4th.
Yes. 4th. Big Joe believer. Joe in the sub and Real. That duo's gonna go crazy. I mean, I'm banking on Clinix. Being that kind of like a slaying flex player, which slows it down a little bit. And, Insight. We got Winsight over here. Be that steady search and destroy player, dropping .9s and respawn.
Yep. Yeah.
That sub duo is gonna go crazy though.
Agreed.
Watch that.
Agreed, and that's why I have them at 3. Brock, I'm assuming you have FaZe at 3? No?
No.
Oh, okay. Brad, you have Ultra at 3, you said?
Yeah.
And Brock, who do you have at 3?
It's probably I have OpTic.
I don't think it's crazy at all. I just assumed you were gonna put FaZe at 3. It is not crazy. It never goes the way you think it does. It never goes the top 2 or just the top 2. It doesn't go that way.
It's like OpTic never gets like, I swear they're always like a good team, but they never get top 2 in standings.
Because they always have a random bottom out top 8.
Yeah.
Or like a bad online stage. Like no matter what team it is, they seem to always have like a struggle stage that makes them finish like 3rd or 4th instead of top 2. Or last year, 7th.
Even though they are the champs, I just some about the regular season at one point or another, they just don't want to log in to the computers and play and or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
so I have them at 3, but who knows? They could be first for all I know, but I swear like they never get first or second.
Yeah, I definitely see the argument. I put Ultra in 3rd for the exact same reasons. You said you put him in 4th, you bumped him up. I bumped him all the way to 3rd. I was gonna put FaZe in 3rd. I bumped Ultra all the way up to 3rd just because I was like, you know what? Like the more I look at the Real Joe subduo on paper, the more I love it. And I love the idea of Kleenex on the flex, and I also like the idea of if there are some fast maps and we're pulling out 3 subs potentially this year. I mean, it's hard to think of a better trio than Real, Kleenex, and Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a better trio in the league? Shottzyy, Huke, Merc. Merc's good with the sub. I don't necessarily like Draza on the sub doesn't intrigue me as much as Merc or Kleenex does. On Thieves, like Kenny pulling out a sub is pretty good. I suppose that might be the one. Kenny Hydra up easy might be it. That might be the one.
Yeah, those two, though, for sure.
But I feel like Ultra, in terms of like if they have to pull out a third sub, is like one of those elite teams, and I feel like their versatility because of that in S&D is going to be incredible. So I got them at third. Brad, you have them at third as well.
Yeah, I like Brock. What Brock said. I mean, that those three is just so exciting. Like honestly, probably other than Surge, Toronto's probably like the team I'm looking forward to watching the most. Just because I mean, those three can just demolish games.
Yeah.
So I think just those three alone put them up to 3 for me over FaZe and LAG. But then you add in the constant of insight. I mean, the guy just wins. The guy is the definition of consistency. I just think that Toronto has enough of the star power and Gunny to get it done, and then on top of that, you have the constant, the constant winner. Constant. I mean, he's just. I mean, literally constant. Like when you think of insight, you think of consistency, and I just think that puts Toronto in third.
Yeah, I do agree that that trio is just like it's just a takeover trio. I also think like when I look at these teams, like I do obviously think like LAT struggles are probably going to be in search. Kenny's teams historically, usually their worst game mode is search. I feel like OpTic's probably going to be a pretty good search team, but they always tend to randomly have their struggles as well. I like FaZe and S&D. Any team with Simp, I like it. S&D and Draza as well. I think LAG, and that's a reason we probably all have them towards the bottom of the top 5, is Sib's teams tend to struggle a little bit. And S&D and like overall that team, I feel like is going to struggle in S&D, but I think this Ultra team is going to be really, really, really good at search. I just like the pace. I feel like they can give you a blistering pace. Like if they have a round, they want to go fast and just like headbutt a site. Like Real, Joe, and Kleenex running it down on you and like taking control of a site is they have a lot of versatility. Like I just like the team a lot. So then at 2, I've got the boys in green. I've got OpTic at 2. Brock.
Simp / FaZe makes FaZe.
And Brad.
I have LAT.
Brad has LAT. So we all have a different 2 as well. And obviously, 2 of us are going to have the same one, Brock and I. So we can just throw them up there. That means, Brad, you have OpTic at 1. Brock and I have LAT at 1.
LAT.
Messes with a little bit here. Just edit this. You can see it a little better on the screen. There we go. You can see it a little better now. Brock and I have LAT 1. And let's see here. Did I get messed up? No, Brock, you have OpTic 2. No, what? That did get messed up.
I have FaZe.
You have FaZe 2. I was gonna say it looked wrong for some reason. It did get messed up. So yeah, you have FaZe 2. But we both have LAT in first. And Brad, you have OpTic in first. Brock, quick, your thoughts. LAT to me is just the best roster on paper, and I just think, like you said, OpTic tends to have random struggles, like just throughout the year at weird moments. So I just think OpTic maybe finishes again. I think they're going to be elite. I think they're finishing second, so they're going to accrue a lot of points this year. They're going to win an event or two. I think. I just like LAT. Like if I took apart their resumes, like I feel like OpTic has the holes I could poke more. Like I don't know, like it hasn't worked multiple times with Huke before. It did last year. They tend to scapegoat the guy. I'm a little worried he might get scapegoated if they struggle again. Also, they've won 2 in a row. Like at some point, you got to imagine they're going to stop winning, but maybe they won't. But when I look at the Abizi Hydra sub duo, it's about as scary as it gets. It's like Abizi and Simp, basically part 2. And then you have arguably the best AR in the game on their team in Scrap. I think you can make an argument they have the best AR and the best sub like they did last year, Scrap and Hydra. They have the undisputed entry sub GOAT in Abizi. And then, in my opinion, they have one of the best IGLs and just like overall leaders that they were sorely missing. Not to say like Ghosty wasn't really good at that role and really good as a second AR, but I think Kenny just brings like a accountability that we saw in the process. He brings an accountability and a leadership to the team that is sorely needed. And I just think like this is the best team in my mind. I think this is the team that preseason I have winning champs. I think it's finally time for Scrap to get it done. I love this team on paper.
Yeah. And the fact they didn't, they kind of bottom out at the end of the year. They're
Yeah,
gonna come for vengeance this year.
I feel like there's some extreme extra motivation. Like Scrap in his rookie year gets to the champs finals, and it's like he's thinking like, oh my god, like rookie year I'm in champs finals, like I'm gonna win this thing, and then all of a sudden like he gets what like a top 6 or a 4th
Yeah.
at MW3 champs, and then last year they're the favorites. They're coming off back-to-back event wins of the favorites going into champs, and they get a last place. They lose to Boston in round 1. Like,
Yeah.
just I feel like they have a lot more reason to be hungry. Obviously, OpTic, you would assume they're going to come into the year hungry as well because they want to win. But like, it's a lot easier to be hungry when you're coming off just an absolutely disappointing finish. And all of these guys, Kenny did not have the year he wanted to last year. Scrap and Hydra, their champs placement was abysmal for what they wanted. And Abizi also, like Abizi is not looking to finish top 6 at champs. Like,
Yeah.
all these guys are coming off terrible performances, so I like him to finish first. I think there's more motivation there. Brad, you've got OpTic at 1. Again, probably the favorite because they're the defending champs.
So some things might have swayed my my thought process on this at the process, and I also watched some scrims of OpTic, and huke, as Ryan said, has always been kind of the scapegoat, kind of the guy, the first man out kind of thing, and huke looks pretty freaking good at this game. Mind you, I will disclaimer it is super early. Don't even know the confirmed maps for the competitive or anything like that. But OpTic, I mean, just like watching that scrim, like the vibes are high as they should be, and it's just like I could see a world where like the team of Dashy, Shottzyy, Pred, and Kenny can go wrong. This one, I just feel like maybe they get too vibey and they have that like crash out at some point. But I just don't see it with this team. Like Mercules and huke, I feel like are less volatile personalities in comparison to like a Kenny and Pred. And I just feel like this team has so much chemistry. It's hard for me to not put them at first because I mean, like I said, the scrims that I watched, like they looked fantastic. Of course, they were learning the maps and everything, but like I mean, Mercules and huke can still shoot in this game, believe it or not. And I just find it hard to believe that with the chemistry that this team has, that they don't finish first.
Yeah,
I don't see them having that like bottoming out moment this year. Which I mean, I'm sure was said every year that OpTic was good, but I'm gonna say it again this year.
yeah. I mean, they're also always my thing is it's hard to put a team that just won champs in first, which sounds funny, but the teams that win champs just never have successful seasons for the most part. And like you could argue, like, oh well, OpTic as an organization went back to back. Yeah, well, they also went 0-18 last year. Like with that, they couldn't win with that roster. Like it took them swapping out 2 players, and like I've been in the trap that Brad just got in, and again, I still think OpTic like could easily get first place, but I've been in the trap Brad is in where it's like, oh my god, they won champs last year. Like, how could they not? Like, you know what I mean? How could they not be the best team? Like they have the same roster, everybody else is making changes, but like somehow they just end up like it's a game again, like Call of Duty is so weird because it is very different than the likes of like a basketball team, like an NBA team where like they're returning like the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. They lost 1 player, and I'm pretty sure he was like an end of the bench guy. Like they're returning the entire same team. They won 60 something games. They won a championship. So it's like you look at them on paper, and it's like, well, they were the best team last year. They won it all. Like if they're healthy, how could they not win it again? Like they have the same team, but like that's different because they're still playing basketball the next year. You know what I mean? Like this, we're going from COD to COD, like developer to developer. Obviously, this year we go Treyarch to Treyarch in games that are pretty similar. So maybe that benefits OpTic, I suppose. But like, it's just kind of funny because it's like you go game to game and like maybe this team just doesn't work in the next title, and that's why it's so different because it's not like we're not playing the same game every year. with that said, though, like they looked absolutely dominant at the end of the year at both champs and EWC. So, and
Yeah.
Mercules might just be a different beast. I mean, we might just be witnessing the goats come up
Yeah, for real.
because he was unreal last year.
Yeah, definitely was.
You wanna? I mean, there's our standings. I'll just leave it up on the screen so people can see it. We're overall pretty similar. We got the same top 5. We all have the same teams making champs. Yeah, we all have the same teams making champs. It's interesting. Usually you see like a jumble at the bottom there, like we switch 9 and 8, but we all have the same teams making champs, which is interesting.
It probably won't go according to plan though, like usual.
Oh no, there's definitely going to be somebody that's not in any of our top 5s will finish top 5 for sure. And one of these 4 teams that we all have missing champs will for sure make it at least into champs.
Mm-hmm.
We ran a little bit longer on time. I feel like we could do the map tier list maybe next week if we don't have other stuff. We do like map tier list next week, and then the week after will obviously be our predictions for the first set of matches.
Yep.
Brad kind of touched on it. The process was really great, long documentary style. I just wish every team did that because, like, I think you could just grow your fan base, so much more.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a fan of the Falcons, like, if they were to do a documentary series where you can really get to know your team more and kind of
Yeah.
like see the behind the scenes, it makes it that much more interesting to follow along because you feel like you've seen the meetings and all that stuff.
Yeah. I love the behind the scenes action.
Yeah, so the process was great. Shout out to Roger. That was really well done. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got for this week. Unless you guys have something else, we'll give ourselves another week to play the maps and before we rank them.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I got nothing else as of now.
All right, that's gonna do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We'll see you guys next week. Like I said, I think probably gonna do a map tier list for this game unless something else comes up, and then the week after is our predictions for the first set of matches. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.